views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting groups. If you'd like to produce a show, call us at 260-421-1250.
Let me be your lighthouse so I can show you the way. Let me be your shining light, I'll keep you from drifting away. I'm the one that makes you try when...
This is Patty Hunter of Patty's Page, welcoming my show, Mr. Matt Steady, all the way from what, Ireland? Are you in
Leicester
Ireland
in
or-
England.
Sorry?
Leicester in England.
Leicester. Is that where you're
Ro-
born then?
No, I was actually born in London. My parents were actually missionaries in Rhodesia, Zimbabwe. And they came back for 2 years to have me. So I was actually born in London. And at the age of 2, I was spirited back off to Rhodesia, and we came back when I was 6. So yes, I spent a couple of years in London and haven't really been back very much, to be honest.
Right. So, who influenced you as you were growing up? Your parents or a friend or a relative?
Musically or just life in general?
Everything.
Everything. Well, certainly my parents. We at the time we were in the Salvation Army, so that was very influential as well. So I mean, of course, a big part of that is music. They've got fantastic bands and choirs. And when I was small, they used to get me up front and sing to everybody. So that was quite funny looking back on it. So that had a big influence for sure. Schools, friends. I don't think I was ever really one of those children who was in a group of popular people, which I think is a really good thing from a musical point of view. I generally had one or two good friends at a time, and we wouldn't be particularly interested in what anybody else was listening to, not interested in what was in the charts. We just listened to whatever we liked. So I had a big classical influence when I was small. Learned classical violin and piano, and my dad had a lot of classical music, and I used to love playing his records on the turntable, and that was great. So yeah, a big classical influence from there. Until when I was a teenager, I found a guitar and kind of found another path. Don't think I really went off the other path as well, but it's certainly a very different way of expressing yourself. So that was very exciting. I remember it well.
Who taught you how to play the guitar?
Nobody, and that was the magic of it.
Self-taught.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a bit easier these days. There's so many online courses. There's so many online tutors. There's lots of material available, but of course, there wasn't internet when I was learning guitar. But I did learn. I did get some tab books. So, for instance, I remember several of them I got out of the library. Eric Clapton Crossroads had everything he played on there. I couldn't play hardly any of it, of course, but just going through it and working your way through a few bars is incredibly helpful. I actually had a Burt Whedon's Learn Guitar in 5 Days book or something like that, with Tie Yellow Ribbon and some 3-chord songs. But yeah, you kind of piece it together, really. And I did end up playing in church, which is an interesting lesson. In some ways, it's very easy stuff most of the time. It's generally three chords, and there's nothing very difficult in most of it. But playing live in front of people in whatever kind of environment you're in is a big thing, actually.
They're testing you.
Absolutely.
Good job.
Learn. You make lots of mistakes, but do lots of learning as well.
True. And I see the guitars behind you now.
Oh yes, plenty of them. Um, so this is one of my current favourites. I actually bought this because the wood is so nice. That sounds terrible, doesn't it? But I saw it. I've never seen another one. It's quite a. I don't know if rare is the right word to use, but there's not many of them about. And I saw a picture of it and I thought that's perfect because it kind of blended modern and ancient. It blended kind of high tech guitar with old fashioned wood and craftsmanship. And I just thought that is great. And so I went along and had a play on it. I thought this is great. So I've been playing that ever since. It's one of my favorite guitars, that one.
Is it bass or acoustic or what?
It's an electric guitar. It's got 6 strings. So I play on kind of a lot of melody lines on that guitar.
So you're a singer, eh?
I sing, I play guitar. The last couple of albums actually have been instrumentals without any singing on, which is interesting. I'm not entirely sure why I've done that. I guess maybe I felt like I needed a break from the singing. It's just where my kind of musical path has taken me recently. I never really want to do 2 albums the same. So I try and mix it up, apart from anything else, to interest me and to learn something new. So, I mean, for instance, after my first album, which was Blood is Thicker Than Gold, I did a kind of mini audit of my music. And I went through everything I played, everything I did to make the album. And I thought, what can I do better next time? What needs the most work? And actually, vocals was the thing that needed the most work at that point. So at that point, I then went and booked some vocal lessons with a lovely lady called Carol Leeming. And that was really scary. Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe it. I didn't think I could be scared with music, but I went and in this little room with Carol, and she said, "Okay, sing me something." It's like,
What?
and I couldn't do it. It took me about 5 minutes to get a note out. I just, I had stuff I could sing, but for some reason in that environment, I choked up and couldn't do it. And
You're on the shy side.
sorry,
Are you on the shy side?
I don't think shy is the right word.
Oh.
I don't need a lot of company. I am an introvert, but I'm perfectly capable of speaking to people and talking in front of a room and talking with people. So I'm very good at being an extrovert if I need to be, but I then need a bit of downtime afterwards. If that makes any sense.
You do write and compose your own songs?
Oh, certainly, yes. I've done a few covers. I think there's probably about 3 or 4 songs that other people have written on my albums, but the vast majority is my own stuff. I kind of sometimes you can really resonate with someone else's song and you can add something to it in your own style, and that's great. But I think come out with your own stuff. If you can do it and it's good enough, I think that's the way to go, really, because no
Just
one's
be
done it.
yourself.
It is, and it's how you can express yourself. It's basically taking your insides and making them the outsides, really. And it's a bit like talking without knowing what the words are in some respects. It just gets a whole load of your emotional baggage is the wrong word because some of the emotions are great and some of the other emotions aren't so great, but it gets them all out and it kind of sorts through them. And
Bit like therapy,
yeah, absolutely, it is. It's absolutely like that.
Right. So if something bugs you, you write, you sing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And often I don't specifically do that, but looking back, you can see that it influenced what you were writing. And the instrumentals is really interesting because I can definitely see that happening on the music I'm writing, which hasn't got words.
What genre?
So the last album was kind of instrumental prog rock, so it had a lot of guitar melodies. It's quite rocky.
Mhm.
But what I tried to do was the guitar melodies I tried to make like singing, so that you could always go away from a song and sing the melody and sing the tune.
Right.
Because you can go down to any guitar shop and you can hear a 12-year-old, playing a million notes per hour. But will you remember any of them? Probably not.
There.
So I want to
You
make
had to
something that's
memorize.
memorable. You can sing, and you can sing the line. So I still think of it as singing. I still call them songs, even though there's no lyrics.
Yeah, instrumental songs. How long does it take to do a basic or regular song that you
Oh
do?
gosh.
Okay, I have you on the spot here.
The best way I can describe it is I don't know if you've heard of Jeff Black. He's a
Yes, I have.
singer-songwriter from America. He's
Right.
wonderful. He's so simple and so complex at the same time. I'm just trying to remember the quote in one of its songs. It's basically, he says that he wrote a song. It only took one night, but it also took the rest of his life. So
Oh, yeah.
you can write songs sometimes in an afternoon, but it's taken you 40, 50 years to get to the point of thinking through what you want to say to get it out there. It's like 50 years of experience and emotional experience that goes into that song. And without that, you couldn't have written the song in an afternoon. Some of my songs I write very quickly like that, but a lot of my songs take a lot longer.
Where you get your ideas then?
All sorts of places. I get a lot of inspiration from nature and history.
Right.
If you go through my albums, you'll see those two themes coming through a lot. Yeah, I find those very enjoyable.
Do you basically do Celtic kind of music, you know?
Yes, I'd say that in most of my albums there's a Celtic influence, whether it's minor or heavy, but um, there's either the kind of Celtic folk style, or even in the big instrumental rock songs, there's often uilleann pipes coming through. There's melodies that have come from
The old days.
Irish music that I've listened to.
Yeah.
I used to be in an Irish band a few
Are you
years back.
Irish then now?
I'm not Irish, I'm English, but I played in an Irish band, funnily enough. So there's quite a lot. So I learned a lot of Irish music, guitar and uilleann pipes, and I got whistles and my violin. And I find those very catchy, and I bring them in a lot into my music, and
You
I think
had
that
to,
gives freshness that that some music doesn't always have.
that's right, because it's something about the Celtic music that brings out that part of me, you know. It's quite lively, it's very strong, your music. There's have
Yeah,
a lot of meaning to it.
yeah. I think it's an interesting question actually. If you do go back through the music, there's not much of it is um, frivolous or particularly light-hearted. That sounds
Um,
awful, doesn't it? Does that make any sense?
yes,
I kind of feel like if I'm going to do something, I really want to put some meaning into it. So you're not
right.
going to catch me writing pop songs because you know what I mean. Instrumentals, yes, they don't always have to have heavy lyrics. That's not what I mean, but there needs to be some power behind it, some oomph, some meaning. It's got to make your heart do something. If you can't feel the music, then I've got it wrong.
Where'd you get that, love?
Well, I had the idea and I tried to draw it, and I'm not very good at drawing. And I tried a few times, and it really wasn't coming out like I wanted it to. And I got a recommendation. There's a friend of a friend called Craig, and I told him what I wanted, and I thought he'd think I was mad, but he came back with that. It didn't have the blue on; it was just like the plain logo, and it just blew me away. It's stunning. It's so good. And I did it for the Here Be Dragons album, which is quite a long time ago now, probably 7 or 8 years. And it was very popular. Did a lot of T-shirts in particular. People who didn't even like my music bought it for the
I love your
T-shirts.
t-shirt, what you're wearing now. Ah,
Wow.
dragon.
Well, I
Ah,
made it
let people know. Yeah.
behind there. I've got a T-shirt printer, so
Do you
I
know?
can print it myself, which is great fun. And yeah, and I thought I'd bring it back for this compilation album. And it's been really popular. I think when people are on social media and they're just scrolling, and they see that, they stop. So it's been very effective actually. Oh yeah, I love it. It's great.
Very eye-catching, the wee dragon. And there's a dragon story in every culture. Are you
It's a good.
married with children?
I am, yes. I've been married for 25 years to Abby. We have one birth child of our own, Indigo, who is on the album in a few little places. She's got a lovely voice. In fact, by the time she was about 12, she was doing gigs with me, and to be honest, she was stealing the show. Her voice is,
That's why she's not on your show anymore, right?
yeah, she's better than me, I'm sad to say. No, I'm not sad.
Silly.
She's great. And then we adopted a 3-year-old lad, and he's now 21.
Oh,
So he's moved on. Oh, you still see him a lot, of course. Then we adopted two girls, and they were 3 and 8. They're now 10 and 15, and now we're foster carers, and we've currently got 4 other children in as well. It's a very busy household, let's say.
so how many CDs do you have now?
I've released 10,
Dang
and
it.
and I'm just crowdfunding and finishing off the 11th, which is a double album. It's interesting. I didn't start songwriting till I was 39,
Right.
so I've been bringing them out at pretty much one a year since.
So you're 49 then. No?
Yeah, be 50
Oh,
soon.
will you be releasing a new CD very soon?
Yes, the final album will be out in November. It's recorded, and I'm just fiddling with the production.
Right.
I've done a very strange thing this time.
Uh-oh.
It's it's 4 tracks. Each of them is 20 minutes long.
Dang.
So, I mean, this is, it's breaking all the rules. It's never going to get a radio play, is it? But it's great. So it's basically a double album. If you imagine a double vinyl
Right.
album, it would be 1 track on each side. And I've released the first 2 tracks as EPs on CD,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to release the next 2 as well. And I'm crowdfunding it. And the artwork is just fantastic. My friend Eddie has done it. So each of the 4 EPs has a piece of artwork on, but when you put the 4 CDs together, it makes a big piece of art.
It
Um, so
looks like a
it,
puzzle put together.
yeah, so it's
Oh,
really special, and I'm so
right.
so very pleased with what he's done. And that's like a crowdfunding only piece of art to encourage people to participate in the crowdfunding, not just wait for the album to be released. So yeah, good fun.
Well, we are near the end. Oh, no. Anyways, what would you like to share with my audience, sir?
Oh gosh, there's all sorts. Like once I get going, you can't stop me. But I think one of the things I'd like to say is that it's never too late to start. Although I've been playing music since I was a nipper, I didn't do it serious. I didn't start writing songs till I was 39, as I say. Obviously I moved from my well-paid IT job into being a
Mm,
penniless musician,
right.
which is always good fun. And I think sometimes people think, "Oh, I'm too old to do this," or I should have done that 20 years ago. Actually, you can still do it. You've got to just have the passion and the will to do it. So just wanted to encourage people with that, really. And I think music is just so important. It
Right.
it heals, it helps, it puts people's lives back together. It's like
Therapy.
magic. It's just amazing.
Right.
And even if you even if you just pick up a guitar once a week and play for an hour, that's just making a little bit of difference in the world. And I think I really, really believe that music is powerful and that everybody should try and engage with it in some way.
You betcha. I'd like to say thank you, Matt Steady, for being on my show. You're a gem, and you are very, very musical, and I love the Celtic part of your music. Reminds me of Canada, which I'm from Toronto. So I'd like to thank you for being on my show, and thank you, audience, for tuning in. This is Patty Hunter at Patty's Page. See you next week.
Godspeed, my love. God is with us always, for the rest of our lives.